For most Anabaptists who hold a deep conviction that when Jesus said to love our enemies and do good to those who would mistreat us, he was really serious. Anabaptism is a particular way of understanding the scriptures. It's a particular way of understanding discipleship. It's a particular way of understanding the gospel. It's a particular way of understanding the church.
It's a framework, a theological framework, an understanding of what it means to follow Christ. It's a lens, if you will, that gives an understanding of what it means to follow Christ. But it's rooted in not just theory, it's rooted in history.
Anabaptism is a deep commitment to following the teaching of Jesus and reading the New Testament as if Jesus is meant to be followed.
Well, it was a renewal movement that happened back in the 1500s, but it's very much alive and well today and influences the churches that I attend.
It was a group of people who looked at what Martin Luther and some of the others had done and said they're not going far enough, and there was a real emphasis to focus on the Sermon on the Mount and really living out what Jesus has called people to live out.
Jesus talked about inviting the little children to come to him, and unless we have the faith of a child, we can't be part of the kingdom.
At the center of Anabaptism is a simple conviction that God's people are called to live out the ways and teachings of Jesus. But what does that look like? How do we do that today in our constantly changing, chaotic, crazy world? How do we love our enemies in a world that's so divided and so violent? Anabaptists for centuries have been wrestling with similar difficult questions. These men and women have lived radical lives that have proclaimed hope in a coming kingdom and have inspired generations of disciples to follow. Anabaptism is not some obsolete theological framework from 500 years ago. It's a movement that's alive today. It's a movement that was needed when it first began, and it's a movement that's needed now. Join me as I explore that movement. Join me as I interview God's people who are faithfully attempting to follow him. I'm Caleb Eicher, and this is Living Anabaptism.
Are we on now?